part two, I mean, like my phone died and now I have to charge it at the same time, and at the same time I have to record, so that's why my camera is not like this and not like that, how, as it was before when I was on the street and shit like that. Yeah, but I stopped in the part that you can kind of get to the place that you want to be in esoterically. It's you to the emotions that you carve out and shit like that, right? So, for example, I would also give as the example that I gave, where for example, as I say that I was just sitting and I closed my eyes and I imagined myself being, like for example, let's say me being now in this specific room and on this chair that I'm sitting on, you know, and how I can do that. So I'm just sitting like that and I'm remembering everything, all the little things that I sense right now, right? You can start with emotions because it's kind of shapeless and formless, and you can use it in different. You can like feel it as a water in different shape and form, and shit like that, right? And it's not physical, as for example me sitting in this suit. So me sitting in another suit, I could still reclaim this energy that I'm in right now due to the emotional background that I may feel, and I may use it as a liquid to pour into another cup that I will drink from later, you know, and shit like that. So yeah, and also like I would say, I mean, like I had a vision of like, you know, when you spill waters all around, they drown everything what you have, because everything look, it derives from water, right? The land derives from water, us as human beings, we derived from water, and babies derive from water, and all the other shit also derives from water and shit like that, right? So life derives from water, and you can low-key drown all your surroundings with water, and due to the fact that there will be nothing for you to witness because everything will be drowned with water, so you can paint your own images and create your own things there and shit like that, right? So for example, you can try that. I think maybe the best way to experience that or try to do that is like when you would meditate. When you would just sit there on like one place on the floor and shit like that, and you just sit there, meditate, 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 and then when you get to more of the clear space, you know, when you're not being already as much as distracted as you were in the beginning of this meditation process and shit like that, you can I mean, like maybe it works for me that way because I'm a water sign, right? And I know how to play with vibes and shit like that, right? And also maybe for another zodiac sign with another element, it will be a little bit different or maybe harder to do that. But you can try, like maybe you can also try to do that and like tell me if it worked for you or it didn't work for you, depending on which element sign you are, you know, and shit like that. But yeah, going to that me sitting in a meditative state, right? I can imagine that I'm sitting here and I can low-key build all the physical representation that I have around me, right? Like me closing my eyes, me just imagining that I'm in an empty space, like somewhere sitting on the waters, and you have a biggest, darkest room and that surrounds me, and I can build images in there, you know, like a painter, like a look it as a dream too, that I build images there. Like for example, I will have a man standing here, I will have a woman standing here, or I will have 10 women standing around me and shit like that, naked and shit like that, right? Or I would have like different type of candles that surround me and shit like that. But everything, all those little representations, I build in my own imagination and shit like that, right? But first of all, I had to drown everything with my waters, and then I, to some degree, dive deep into a feeling, like let's say a feeling of me being with superpowers right now, right? And I create all this shit, right? And due to the fact that water holds memory, emotions holds memory, I can create representations for that emotion. So when I will use that emotion as a liquid and I'll pour it into another cup, let's say for example this first cup is me sitting here and meditating, right? So this water I'm feeling, let's say this cup I'm feeling with this certain specific liquid, the emotion that I created, and I put into this liquid all the different type of memories that I want to for them to be in it. So for example, my creative abilities, my godlike creative abilities, because I'm the creator, not the creation and shit like that. I create, but I may dive deep into my creations, but I don't have to get lost into my creations and shit like that, right? And it goes to your physical words, it goes to your emotional state, it goes to your different outcomes that turn out to be your friends, your surroundings, your different situations, locations that you experience and shit like that, right? So I'm putting all these different representations into this specific emotion memory. So later, let's say after 2 weeks that I will go somewhere out and shit like that, I'll not forget this specific space that I was in. So when, for example, in 2 weeks of time, I will be on the verge of getting lost into my creations, I will remember myself like, oh, bro, I had to jump into this emotion, and I'm jumping into this emotion, and now I use this specific liquid that I had with different representation that I put in. I'm taking this liquid and I'm putting into another cup, right? It doesn't matter the shape. It's like that because water, it takes the shape of the thingy that it is fulfilling or something like that, right? So now I'm putting this liquid into another cup that is ready with me of me. This cup is of me, represents me being somewhere in 2 weeks later. I can use the same emotion, and now it will bring me back to my comfort zone, low-key, and shit like that. So now I'll be more kind of in tune with myself that I wanted to be when I was at home, and I didn't have as much as this distraction around me as I have in this moment of me being further for 2 weeks or something like that. So yeah, that's the shit, how you can use it, how you can play with it and shit like that, with your emotions, blah blah blah. Yeah, and you can do this for a bunch of different other emotions, right? You can take some type of, let's say, an image, put a certain emotion characteristic in it, and into that characteristic or into that sphere you only put stuff that you want to put into it. So then later when you'll go out, you can wear it as a coat, as a cloth on yourself, and you will feel more in that way because you already have the drip on you and shit like that, right? And you didn't leave it at home, and then you didn't leave it at home, and you will not remember it when you will get home, and you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember I was thinking about this. But you can actually just esoterically, like esoterically inside your mind, in that yin world, you can create, you can, let's say, you can take some type of maybe emotion, or some type of you seeing yourself, or some type of, like, let's say, image, a picture. You take it, you separate it from all the other shit, you take it, like, put in front of you, like everything is esoterically, right? It's not physically that I'm talking about right now. It also is physically, but now we are talking about you taking a picture that you cannot see now in this camera, right? And you take this picture, you put it in front of you, and you feel it, you paint it, you fill it with all the emotion that you want to have it. Or let's say there's like some type of emotion that you put up here, and you fill it with all the different ideas, thoughts, maybe other feelings and shit like that, goals that you want it to have, right? So then later when you will use that emotion, it will bring you the stuff that you put into it, like, this cup that you will take with you, it will have the liquid that you put into it and shit like that, right? So that's maybe the concept of like other. So maybe you have different myths of like vases or cups that always being fulfilled and shit like that. When you drink from it, it never ends. There's always like water in it. That can be one of the representation of this shit of you. Doesn't matter how much blood suckers, how much succubuses, how much nasty toxic people will try to drain and suck your energy out. You always will be fulfilled filled with those kind of liquids, because you know where to get those liquids from, type shit like that. It's not like you have to go out into the life for something to initiate it, for you to feel it and then jump into it and be like, oh yeah, I'm in this like I mean this, like, you know, something initiated, this thingy to appear, and then you jump into it, and then you're inside of it, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel happy, I feel happy, I feel good, I feel sexy, I feel powerful and shit like that, right? But you can yourself build that little orb for you, a little space for you then to jump into it in the moment that you need it for, you know, in the moments that it is necessary, and then you will jump into it, and then you'll swim in it, and you'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, like, you know, yeah, now I'm feeling powerful and shit like that, even though I have to drive home to my house like 2 days and 15 hours on the train for me to get back home and shit like that. I still feel like I'm at home and shit like that, because I'm in this emotion of me being comfortable, or me being in this home space like that I created, and then I jump into it when it was necessary for me to use it and shit like that, you know. So that's like the little magic that you can use too and shit like that. But yeah, it goes to different type of emotions. It can go to your aggression. So for example, you can even, like, every time you get aggressive, you can kind of put it all together into one thing, you know. So you're aggressive from this situation, you're aggressive from that situation, you're aggressive from that situation, and you just take all these different aggressive points and put it into one big spot, and then you can use it to, like, for example, for more aggressiveness and shit like that, you know. So you combine all the aggressiveness, now it makes a biggest mixture of biggest aggressiveness, and now you can spill it on somebody else and he will burn and shit like that, you know. So yeah, but also I wanted to say that yeah, so basically when you, let's say you have this specific space, right, that you put some type of images into it for you then to jump into it and use it to your own advantage and shit like that. So how it also works, you see it in the physical life too. It's not like something I'm saying something hella mysterious, hella mystical, and it's not visible, so it's not in existence and shit like that, so it's not real. No, it's not actually like that, because you also do it in your life, but it's low-key being done, I'm not saying in a negative way, but somehow it, not in a wrong way, but it's done not in the way that it's supposed to be, like, you know, in the way of creator, and you're the creator and you're not the creation, but it's being done in the way that you're the creation, somebody else is the creator and shit like that, right? So it can be like in the ways that, for example, you go to a specific place, let's say you're going to school, and in school depending on different experiences that you experience in the school, you may have some type of associations to different classes, or to different people, or to the school itself, you know. You may have this specific association that you associate school with. So for example, some may associate it with a place that he wants to go to because he has a lot of friends there, all the teachers that his teachers are hella fun, and it's interesting for him to be in those classes and shit like that. For other one, it may be the school may be associated with a place where that he hates because he's being bullied there and shit like that, you know. He gets bad marks, bad grades, then he gets home, his parents start to like yell at him and shit like that, right? So this school is associated with him with some bad associations, and it goes on and on and on. So somebody else will have the school associated with some different stuff than some other guy and shit like that, right? So here you see that something is happening, and then you associate that with some space. So when you jump into the space, you may have a, like, for example, you will go in the street. Let's say let's say some of the guys who associates the school with something bad, right? So he walks in the street, something, he experiences something very similar to that energy of what he associates his school with. He may experience it, and he may get like a reminder about his school, and he'll be like, oh yeah, there's something similar, like this kind of energy that I experience right now is very similar to the energy that I experienced in school and shit like that, right? So it would be done here in the way that something is happening, and then you then it creates an orb, and the orb is created not by you, you know, it's created by somebody else, but it went into your subconscious mind, and now when you'll pass maybe another school, you may get first those, depending on what, how deep you associate one thing with another. Let's say this guy, he associates negativity with school, and maybe every other school that he passes, which is not his school, he may pass through he may pass by it, and he will get negative emotion due to the fact that it's a school, you know, and he associates negativity with school and shit like that. So here, how is it done? It's done in other way around, not from within on without, but mostly from without on within. So the experiences that went around him made him associate school with specific type in a specific type of way. But what I was telling before, for you to create your own surroundings with your own water, or getting some type of emotion as an image and putting only the stuff that you want it to have, feeling that shit, and then combining it and having it as a world, as an ecosystem now itself. So every time when you need it, you jump into it, and it's in the way that you shaped it out to be and shit like that, right? So in this case that I said right now is you doing it like the right way, where you do it from within on without, you know. So you feel a certain image with the associations that you want it to associate with, you know, and not the other way around, where something outside of you decides how you will associate a certain stuff with a certain thingy. And that's okay when you also to some degree lose your power, because you're not the one who interprets the thing. Is you're the one who just experience, and as a spirit you just jump into anything and you think like, damn, what the fuck, you just get lost, you know. But when you jump into something, you observe it and you're like, okay, let me change into this. You just you can change it anything, right, in the way that you want it, for you to have it in the way that you want it to have, or something like that. I got lost in the words again. Yeah, but yeah. And I'm not sure about the concept, but I somehow feel that if you will drown it with waters in general, you will create different lands from it and shit like that, different type of clouds and shit like that, right? So you have to drown it with waters first. Maybe you have to get to that what it can actually mean, because I still can I didn't interpret what that can actually mean, but I got a vision that it can actually work. So maybe it can be interpreted in the way that you have to completely jump into that emotion without all the different representation that it has. Just get to the root of the emotion itself, you know, just swim in the emotions without getting out from it, and just seeing what those emotions, which type of gases it emits, aka which type of images it emits. Just jump into that emotion itself and create your own gases, your own images that you want it to emit and shit like that, you know. But how I got it as a picture in my head, it was like me just sitting in my room, closing my eyes, me knowing what is around me, you know. Let's say that wall is behind me, right, and I'm closing my eyes and I'm completely drowning it full with water, and now I create not the wall, but let's say I'm creating a biggest garden behind me and shit like that, right? And you can also try to do it right now and you will see how it works. And then when you get to that point, then you fulfill it, and then for you to make it easier, for you not to go through different like hula hoops to get to that point, you can just easily create a world, and from that world you just make one sign, let's say one letter, and this one letter, when you jump into it, you already get into a bigger ecosystem, you know, like as a portal, but you don't have to go into it like, okay, what I had in my world that makes me comfortable, I had a garden on the place of my wall behind my back, you know, I had like something in front of me on the place or something, and then, you know, it takes more time, but you can just make a symbol. I'm not saying you can make your own symbol that represents something, you know, and then when you will just think of the symbol, or you will just have it on your hand, like, you know, you have it in your pocket, you're like going around and you're like, oh, what is in my pocket, let me take it out, you're taking it out, and it's a lighter, and open this lighter reminds you of the space that you wanted to be and shit like that. But yeah, so yeah, that was also about associations that I wanted to say, that be the creator, not the creation. You can be the creation sometimes, but you have to be the creator of your own things and know what you're associating one thing with another, and doing it from within on without and shit like that, right? So yeah, we also talked about the worlds, how you can create those worlds and use it to your advantage. So first you create a world, then you jump into it when you are needed and shit like that. Oh yeah, but I also wanted to say about like maybe it's because I'm a water sign, as I said before, because I'm more into those emotions and shit like that, right? And maybe I know how to get something, not because I'm a Cancer. I'm living in this world of initiating, of seeing emotions, of seeing different moods, of me being moody, of me understanding how to use moods and shit like that. And I'm also like Sagittarius moon, so I have a meaning. So I automatically gain like different wisdom, and I know how to use that, with different emotions. So I'm very wise to some degree with my emotions and shit like that, But yeah, I'm not flexing though. Everybody are individual, and I'll also have a video on individuality, which will tell you that you is you for the sake of you being you, and when you are you, there's nobody who will be better than you in you being you and shit like that, something like that. That there's no reason for people to compete, because everybody would be their own unique self, and everything would be, there would be no competition, there would be no greed, there would be no nothing, because you're being you, and it's like you don't give a fuck when you're being you and shit like that, you don't care who is hating, who likes that shit, who doesn't like the shit, you're just being you, and that's it, and fuck everybody else. So yeah. Yeah, but I also want to say about the emotions and things like that, because as I said before, water has memory, right? Water has memory in it. And the thing is, when I was playing with this, like me being in one space and just remembering what was not surrounding me, but which emotional state I was in, for me to maybe later get also the stuff that was standing around of me, and me actually experiencing the experience again, but not being in that experience, So for example, let's say I was in a happy state, like I was in a very happy state like 3 months ago. Now at this point I'm here in my room trying to get to that point of me being happy, which was like 3 months ago. Now it's maybe to some degree, now it will be hard for me to remember exactly who was standing where at that point, who was doing what at that point, for me to get there. But through the emotional state, it will be easier for you to get there, and you may even remember how specifically everything was moving, and how specifically everybody was standing. Like for example, this one friend was standing here, and he was actually standing here back then. This one friend was standing specifically here, and the other guy was specifically like 3 centimeters away from him. Like you will get those little things due to the fact that low-key water holds memory, and due to that emotion you jump into that emotion, and you automatically, I mean, like this for me, how I can already rebuild the images, because I'm jumping into the core which the images built. So for example, let's say when you take outside to in, my surroundings made me feel some type of way, right? And this some type of way, this is, let's say, this some type of way that the surroundings make me feel is this specific cup, right? So yeah, so me then 3 months later, me being at home, and like I want to experience that thing again. I don't remember what actually that friend of mine told me, or how he reacted to this one word that I said. How I can get there? I can try to sit here and try to remember how the experience itself went, or I can jump into this specific cup, which will bring me, Loki, to that place as a time travel thingy, right? And then you will remember it. I mean, like, it actually worked for me. But maybe I'm an emotional, watery sign, like that. But you can also try to do that with you, just like figure your own way how to do it and shit like that. Because it is not like something spooky, because for example, emotions do water aka emotions do actually hold memory into it. For example, let's say you may see this one person who bullied you, and you will see him after some time, you may get the same emotion, and you'll be like, yeah, like when will see the same person, because like it's low-key a memory. Or when you'll go through the same kind of emotion, you'll be like emotion of angerness, and you'll be like, let's say once upon a time you were hella angry, and like now at this point you are also hella angry, you have the same angerness as back then. Something made you like so angry that you went to the boiling point and stuff like that, and back then you also went to the boiling point, and you now at this point you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember like once upon a time I low-key experienced the same shit. And you will even maybe remember what the guy actually told you for you to get to that boiling point and shit like that, So yeah. So that's the shit. So you can even create. You can maybe that's all. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to flex, but I feel like it's because of me being a water sign, and I also have Pisces in my third house. In third house is your surroundings. So I actually the type of guy who can just walk on the street and daydream about everything what is around me, and I can be like, okay, I'm sitting in this room, but for me it's a whole goddamn castle, and I have, for example, a demon standing there and an angel standing there, and they are fighting with each other, but not in a creepy, spooky way that you may think it is. I'm seeing everything as you see, but I am putting some emotional kind of waters into it that overdrown the physical appearance and put over it a appearance that I drew myself and shit like that, with waters and shit like that. Cancer. But yeah, but yeah, so that's I think basically it. So you can jump here and there, play with your emotions, create, let's say, pods or orbs or ecosystems, and fill it with water that you want them to have. So then when you will jump into it, you will only get the purest waters, and not even though some of your waters will get poisoned by somebody else or will get sucked by somebody else, you still can get to that, let's say, some degree maybe promising land or something. How you create it depends on you. You can jump back into it and you'll get back on the point that you were in. It also helps you when you going to some type when you are reaching some type of goal, or like you are not trying to get distracted, or you have this specific, let's say you today you have to go out and shit like that, you have to go to school, then you have to go grocery shopping, then you have to go meet this one friend, then you have to go meet this one another friend who will have his friends, and then you have to go to the club with them and shit like that. And when you woke up, you were like in a good spirits and shit like that. You were like, yeah, this is my day, I'm looking good, I'm dressing cute, my favorite music is playing in my headphones, blah blah blah, this is my day. But as soon as you step out, something may happen, something may go in the wrong way, somebody will distract you, somebody will say, what the fuck is this jacket, somebody will say like, bro, why you're so happy, everything is not as cute as you think it is, and shit like that. So you're getting all this like distractions from your little path that you were going on, and you may, because it's life, right, and we all kind of get lost into emotions and thought processes and shit like that, and you may go like straight, and then you may get distracted and you will go in different ways, but that little ecosystem that you built, you may jump into it and it will get you back on the point that you were going on and shit like that. It doesn't matter how long somebody was sucking your shit and shit like that. But yeah, that's it. I guess that's it. I think that's enough. So you can play around with the stuff. So as I said before, water holds memory, and you can actually experience, because I'm a self-experience, maybe it's hard for me to explain it, but I actually experienced that, for example. Yeah, so maybe that also, maybe water holding experience and you having deja vu. I'm not sure about deja vu, but I feel to some degree deja vu is you experiencing that same emotion, but just the emotion is very familiar to you, right? But you just may have different things in front of your eyes. But the emotion is so familiar to you that you may think the images that you get right now is also that they were in that memory, that emotion is like that. But yeah, because I also had like I had deja vus and stuff like that. I had deja vus that where the images in front of me are exactly as it was like in a deja vu or something like that. But sometimes I also had the deja vu where the images are low-key slightly different. So for example, I see the same floor, but I just see different shoes being on that floor and shit like that. And I guess that is more of an emotional thingy, where on an emotional state you are being in the same space where some previous thingy happened, so that's why you're having deja vu, because you're in the same emotion, and depending on how strong that emotion is and how you're in tune with that will depend if you'll differentiate the different images that are in front of you, or they may look familiar to the same picture before, even though they may stand differently too, or involve different images in it. But you will take it as it was before, as it was already, due to the fact that the emotion is so familiar to you, and you dived into so deep that you think everything what comes with this emotion is the same way as it was back then, with the same emotion, type shit like that, you know. But yeah, but I think that's it for today. I hope this video is alright, because I'm doing it like that and not like that, but I think it's gonna work, why not? And I hope I made myself point clear and shit like that, because I think it's actually the shit. And due to the fact that you know how to use this shit, you can be a master of your own shit and shit like that, and you can make a cup that will always be fulfilled with the stuff that you want it to be fulfilled with. You know, it doesn't matter who will suck on it, who will spoil it, who will poison it, who will spill it and shit like that. You will still have it like rebuilt and back on its track, and it will bring you back on your track, and that's it, and that's it, and that's it. So yeah, have fun with you playing with your shit. Yeah. Let me talk a little bit. As I said before, maybe it works in this way for me because I'm a water sign, but I was also thinking how it can work for different elements. I think for fire signs it may work in this similar way. You know, when, for example, for me, I'm a water sign, right? So emotions. Fire is like more of an expression and like inspiration, that little spark that you're walking on the street and you're like, no. Then you saw a building, something happening, and then you have, like, you know, like a bulb, how you got light bulb is being like sparked and shit like that. Now you have idea. Yeah, this is like this little spark, this is like fire and shit like that. You know, expression. So maybe if you are a fire sign, maybe you can build this like little surroundings, through like in a fiery way, where you just get inspired, and with that inspiration you fill the whole room. For maybe yeah, as I said, for the war, for for water element, it would be maybe you diving into that emotion deep, and then through that emotion making new kind of lens that will come out from it. If you're an air sign, I would say maybe if you're an air sign, okay, if you're an earth sign, maybe you actually, it will be maybe the hardest for you to do that. Maybe you actually have to have like physical representations of that shit, but you can convert it in the way that you can, like, let's say, put some type of energy, let's say that little space that you want to be in, that little cup, as I called before, you can put that energy into some physical matter, you know, and then as a curse tool, and then you use it as a curse tool with you, so you always have it in your pocket, and when you take it out, it reminds you of your shit, because it's like earthly element, you know. You actually, earth, it takes movement, earth, it takes some material shit, it takes some practicality and shit like that, you know, some so earth element basically, you know, like building and shit like that. So you actually maybe need to use like physical things and shit like that for you to get to that. And air is, what is air? Air is logic, air is like thinking processes, air is like words and shit like that. So maybe you can create that word based on your different ideas, your different winds. You can actually put a whole tornado into it, right? Like a tornado is a fixed air that only moves in the way that it moves in comparison to the all other airs that may surround it. So you're creating that specific type of air, and then when you're jumping into it, it moves you like in the cartoon Looney Tunes. You know, they had this like little, I don't know, a boar, or that was like a wolf. I don't know who that. It was like a biggest doggo or something like that that was moving on the tornado and shit like that. You know, like the brown one. Yeah. So you so you can use that kind of technique and move in that way and shit like that, where you close your eyes. You know that everything surrounds you, but you make it logically changeable. You know, when you're like in a thoughtful way, in a every way changing your surroundings, so you make logic out of it. So let's say you can say that, okay, also yeah, so maybe for air, the same example of me saying that this wall behind me is now biggest fucking place full of trees and bushes and shit like that. Fire may just do it maybe in the same way as water, just like having inspiration of that there's a garden behind him, water also painting pictures that there's water behind him, like having emotions of that, like, oh yeah, there's water, there's like a garden behind me, so it's like hella lit and shit like that. For earth, maybe you actually had to maybe put some plants onto it, maybe some plastic fake plants, you know, that you can hang like lianas or some different other thing is there everywhere, so it will look more physical, more earthly like, because you're earth sign, you know, it will make you it will make more sense, okay, common sense, that it will be a garden type shit like that. But for air, maybe you can just in a thought way create, you maybe you can just put aeroplanes everywhere, you know, or you can just write everywhere garden, 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 and just with biggest words write a garden here, and maybe like even in your head every time when I'm looking at the back thingy, it's a garden for me, and you do it in the wordly like way, you know, it's like that, so it's air. I mean, like, it's maybe I'm trying to, but I think maybe if you're an element that is your element, if you're an air element or you're an earth element or you are a fire element, you may peep that what I'm trying to say, but I'm not able to say, because maybe I'm seeing stuff in a low-key different way, but you'll peep that in your own way, because you know how your let's say mind and how you observe shit and how you push out shit works, system works and shit like that. Yeah, so that's basically it from me. I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, have fun. Wait, where's the camera?